A football match lasts 90 minutes, but for some people, it controls their mood for days. One goal can lift a city. One mistake can start a war in the comments. One whistle can turn a room full of normal people into strangers screaming at each other like their entire life depends on it. And the strange part is this: most of them are not players. They are not coaches. They are not even on the pitch. They are just watching. Yet when their team wins, they feel powerful. When their team loses, they feel personally attacked. That is not normal logic. That is psychology, because football was never only about football. For a lot of people, football becomes identity, not a hobby, not a pastime. Identity. The line disappears. The team stops being them and becomes us. That tiny change rewires the emotion completely. People stop saying, "They won." They start saying, "We won." And when that happens, the result is no longer just a result. It becomes a statement about who they are. That is why a victory feels bigger than the game itself. It feels like respect. It feels like proof. It feels like your side was chosen by fate. And when the team loses, it does not feel like a normal loss. It feels like embarrassment. It feels like the world saw your side and rejected it. Humans hate that feeling. Because deep inside the brain, being part of a group has always meant survival. Long before stadiums, jerseys, and trophies, people lived in tribes. If you belonged, you were safer. If you were rejected, you were vulnerable. That old instinct never disappeared. It just changed form. Today, the tribe might not be a village. Today, it might be a football club. The colors change. The chants change, the flag changes, but the psychology stays the same. And once a person starts thinking in tribal terms, reason becomes weaker. The brain does not ask, "What is true?" The brain asks, "Who is on my side?" That is why fans can defend obvious mistakes, bad decisions, and terrible behavior from their own side. They are not protecting facts, they are protecting belonging. That is what makes football fans look irrational from the outside. They are not reacting to the sport alone. They are reacting to identity being threatened. Think about how fast emotion takes over. A referee makes one controversial call, and suddenly people who were smiling a second ago are furious. Not mildly annoyed, furious. They are not just upset about the decision. They feel disrespected. They feel robbed. They feel attacked. The rational mind says it is only a game, but the emotional mind says, no, this means something about us. That is the trap, because once the emotional mind takes control, everything becomes extreme. A great goal is not just a goal, it is destiny. A missed chance is not just a mistake, it is betrayal. A rival's celebration is not just celebration, it is arrogance. Every moment gets inflated, every feeling gets magnified. And the more emotionally invested someone is, the less objective they become. That is why fans can watch the same match and describe completely different realities. One side says, "We dominated." The other side says, "They were lucky." One side says, "The referee ruined the game." The other side says, "We were better anyway." Everyone sees the version that protects their identity. That is not a football problem. That is a human problem. We do this everywhere. Politics, schools, friend groups, online debates. Once people attach their ego to a side, they stop evaluating reality fairly. They start defending themselves through the side they chose. Football simply exposes that instinct in one of its purest forms. And that is why football is so powerful, because it does something most modern life struggles to do. It gives people belonging. A lot of people today feel disconnected. Their lives are busy, repetitive, and isolated. They wake up, go through the motions, scroll, work, sleep, repeat. But football gives them a shared emotional experience. It gives them a place to celebrate with others. It gives them a place to suffer with others. It gives them a story bigger than themselves. That matters more than people admit. When someone wears the jersey, attends the match, sings the chant, or defends the club online, they are not just consuming entertainment. They are participating in a group identity. They are saying, "I am part of this." And if you threaten that feeling, even slightly, the reaction can be intense. Because belonging feels good, losing it feels dangerous. That is also why crowds can become irrational so quickly. Emotion spreads. One person shouts, another follows. One person gets angry, the whole section gets louder. One person celebrates, and suddenly the energy explodes through the entire stadium. Human beings are highly responsive to group emotion. We copy what we feel around us. We absorb the energy of the crowd. We let the atmosphere shape our judgment. That is why a stadium feels different from watching alone. It is not just the match. It is the collective emotional force. The crowd does not simply watch football. The crowd becomes part of the event. And once people are inside that energy, they stop thinking like isolated individuals. They start thinking like a unit. That is where irrationality grows. Because when millions of people are emotionally synchronized around a team, logic becomes secondary. The brain prefers loyalty over accuracy. It prefers winning over fairness. It prefers group security over personal objectivity. This is why people can argue for hours after a match, replaying every second, every decision, every foul, every call, as if their entire worldview depends on it. In a way, it does. Not because football is life or death, but because the brain treats social belonging like something close to it. And then social media makes everything worse. In the old days, the emotion faded. You argued with people near you, then you went home. Now the argument never ends. Every clip gets replayed. Every mistake gets edited. Every angry reaction gets amplified. The loudest opinions spread the farthest. Outrage gets more attention than calm thinking, and attention rewards the most extreme voices. So fans are not only reacting to the match, they are also reacting to a machine that keeps feeding their emotions back to them. That is how a normal game becomes a psychological event. And that is why football fans become irrational, not because they are broken, not because they are stupid, not because they cannot control themselves at all, but because football touches the deepest parts of human nature: identity, tribe, pride, belonging, emotion, and ego, all at the same time. That combination is powerful enough to override reason. So when you see a fan screaming, crying, arguing, or losing control after a match, do not just think, they care too much. Think deeper. Think about what the game represents to them. Think about the need to belong. Think about the fear of losing status. Think about the part of the brain that still believes survival depends on the group. Because football was never the real reason. It was the excuse. The real reason is much older than football, older than stadiums, older than trophies, older than the modern world. It is the human need to belong to something, defend something, and feel something bigger than yourself. And that is why a game can make rational people irrational. That is why a goal can feel like a victory for the soul. And that is why, when the final whistle blows, people are not always reacting to football, they are reacting to themselves.